Today we're going to be talking about some questions we get commonly asked about our new-ish Western boot line. So I'm going to be going over a few things because our Western boots kind of stand apart from all of our other options here. Whereas like the pull-on boots, engineer boots, logger boots, they can all kind of be made with some of the same lasts and features. They all kind of work together in that fashion, whereas Western boots have some unique options, some unique toe shapes and things like that. So the first thing we're gonna go over, first commonly asked question, is about the Western boot lasts that we offer. If you don't know, we offer two lasts for our Western boots. That's the lace-up packer, as well as our pull-on line, the Palouse, and the shorter roper boots. We offer these models with two lasts that are separate from all of our other models. We have the 5332 last and the 5812 pointed toe last. I'll kind of put these in order from pointed to more rounded toe. So we've got, this is not a great example because it's a 3A, so it's a very, very narrow last. But this is our 55 last. You can see it's kind of got, that classic, more rounded toe profile to it. So this is what you'll see on most of our boot models, from our Builder Pro to our Engineer to our Robert. You can also get this on our Packer or our Palouse boot. But then we have the two Western boot lasts. We have the 5332 last. So this is what we call our semi-pointed toe last. So this is probably the most, say, traditional Western boot last. You can see it's got a bit more of a pointed toe to it, but not too extreme compared to the 5812 last. So this is probably the least common last that we use. It's got a much more pointed toe to it, a little bit sleeker profile to it. The big reason for these lasts, traditionally Western boots do have a bit more of a pointed toe, and the real reason for that is just to give yourself some room to slide into stirrups when you're riding a horse. Our Western boots, the Packers, the Palouse, they are originally intended for riding horses, getting the boot into the stirrup, and you'll see a lot of the different options that we offer on them are kind of spec'd for that exact purpose. So that is the main one, the last profile. That is the thing that kind of sets them apart the most. Next option that we offer on our Western boots is called a Spur Shelf. So again, this is something that you do not need this unless you are riding a horse. So a Spur Shelf is, you can see the back heel here, we just leave a bit more space there, creating a bit of a shelf, as opposed to our standard profile here where there's a little bit less space. And the whole reason for that is so that you have a little bit of a shelf to get your spurs on there. So your spur can rest nicely and you can use the boots for riding a horse. The next question we get is about the toe bug option. So we've got a boot here with a toe bug. So you can see it is just a little embellishment, a sewing pattern on the toe of the boot. Really, this is just for aesthetics. It just looks really cool. Gives you that Western vibe. Not a huge functional purpose for this. For a pull-on boot on our Palouse boot, the toe bug has a few more lines of sewing going further up the vamp. And sometimes this can provide a little bit of a break point to help with the creasing of the boot and the bend point of the boot. But really, for the most part, it's just because it looks cool. It's just a Western embellishment that you can add to your Western boots. You may see some options for more toe bugs on a wider range of products in the future. For now, we're keeping it on the Western boots because it is a Western embellishment. The next question we get asked a lot, the thing that I would say probably sets the Western boots apart the most from our other products is the heel. All of our Western boots can be defined by this heel shape here. So this is what we just call a packer heel. Traditionally, just because it was only offered on our lace-up packer product. You can call it a Western heel, a cowboy heel, but really all it is a little bit taller heel. You get one extra heel stack there. So our traditional logger heel is around 5. It can vary depending on how much it's been compressed, things like that. 5 or 4, sometimes 6. But the packer is just a little bit taller, typically 1 lift taller. And then once we put it on the boot, we sand it at a little bit more of an angle than we do with like a dogger heel. And the other big part of it is that the inside of the heel, unlike the logger heel stacks or dogger heel profiles where they have a curve here, this one is what we just refer to as it's breasted flat. It comes to us that way. The stack comes flat like this. And the purpose for that is, again, for riding horses. Your stirrups have a little bit of a shelf that your boot needs to sit on. So this provides a flat platform for your boot to sit on. Similar to like lineman gaffs. Same idea with our lineman heel profile and our lineman heel stack. Flat on the inside, so you don't get any rocking or destabilization. It just sits flat on there and you are secure in the stirrup. Another big question we get about our newer Palouse and Roper line, and honestly in general with a lot of the pull-on boots we offer, the Pullman, the Station Master, even sometimes the Wellington line, is just questions about heel slip. So you can ask any Western boot maker, anyone who sells or fits Western boots, you want some heel slip. Heel slip is normal. If you didn't have a little bit of heel slip, you'd be stuck in that boot. So when you first try on a Western boot or pull-on boot in general, you should have some lifting in the heel. I normally say maybe about 1 inch or so at the most, but you should be getting some lift in there. As you wear the boot, that sole will start to flex more with your foot, and that heel slip will lessen. Really what is happening is there needs to be a little bit of room so you can get your foot in and out, and as you're taking your step, that sole isn't flexing, so your foot is doing the movement on its own, and that heel is lifting. But again, this will lessen over time. The more and more you wear the boots, the more the heel slip will reduce, but there should always be a little bit of heel slip in the boot. In terms of sizing, we actually recommend going with the same size for your pull-on boots as you do for your Nix boots. For your lace-up boots, we use the same lasts, so the sizing is going to be the same. The space for your toe, the width of the ball of the foot, it's all going to be the same because we use the same last. I wear between a 12E and a 12F, depending on how I'm feeling that day and what I want the boots for. Normally around a 12EE for the most part. And I just got a new pair of Pullman boots, 12EE, they fit great. There's a bit of heel slip at first, especially because I have a heavier logger heel with a lug sole, but the heel slip has reduced and they're fantastic. We also get asked a lot what the difference is between the Palouse and the Roper. The Roper really is, for those of you who are familiar with our brand and our boots, I would compare it to the Build-A-Pro and the Urban Logger. It's essentially the same boot, the same recipe. One is just offered a little bit lower, or I guess Build-A-Pro and Urban Drifter might be a better comparison, because one is offered standard with a lower block heel and a lower height. The other is offered taller height with a traditional packer heel or cowboy heel. So the Palouse comes that traditional Western boot, 13-inch height with that packer heel, and then the Roper comes with a 10-inch height and a lower block heel, which is traditional for a Roper style boot. Ropers are commonly referred to as kind of your casual Western boot. Some people call it the old man cowboy boot. It's the boot that you get when you want to still wear Western boots, but you're not riding horses anymore. It's just a little bit lower profile, a little bit more casual, maybe a little dressier. But functionally, they're very similar in terms of style and design. We do have our build your own Palouse option in which you can customize all those things and mix and match. If you wanted to do a 13-inch boot with a low heel, you can do that. If you wanted to do a 10-inch Roper style with a taller heel, you can do that. So you can mix and match all of that on the build your own section. So that kind of goes over the basics of our Western boots and some of their differences that make them stand apart from our other lines. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to our customer service department through email or through phone. And then you should be able to check out our buying guide for any other information regarding our Western boots. Thank you.